Hey, y'all, welcome to another episode of the CoolKegs Podcast, brought to you by CoolKegs Productions. I'm one of your hosts, and so is he. His name is Cool.
And his name is Kegs. What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Hey, I don't know.
What is
we're
up?
just back. We're just back doing our thing. We don't we're gonna do the loosey goosey thing, I think. Stop raising your hand.
Yours is up. Why can't mine be up? I just want a match.
Yeah, people won't be able to see that, but yeah, he's playing with me inside the program here, folks. But I don't know, man. What do you want to hit on today? Do you have any idea what you want to talk about, or are we just gonna?
I don't know. Let's just wing it, and if we get somewhere, we get somewhere. Right now, I'm just trying to keep a dog off of my fucking nads.
And you're
He's sitting like, Dad, I just want attention. I'm like, I just want you to lay down and chill for a minute, brother. Fuck.
Well, man, shit, we haven't done this in like forever, so it's good to finally kind of touch base and I don't know, be able to have the time to do it again. I know your schedule's getting crazy. You know, obviously my side's getting a little bit busier, so I don't know. I guess let's start off with this, like real life stuff, like how's things going? What's going on with you? That kind of thing. Let's start there.
Yeah, we could. It's moist.
It's moist.
For everyone who doesn't know, I'm located in the sprawling expanse of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Don't come for a visit. We don't like tourists. Beyond that, spring here gets wet, and it's quite wet. Yeah, it's all that's. Other than that, construction season's gonna be kicking up soon, and I cannot wait to get back in my hoe.
Ooh. You got that wrist thing going on.
Oh. just pulling on them sticks, baby.
Well, we got some weather coming our way too. Freezing rain, and we're in a blizzard warning. I think you are too, right?
Yeah, I got like fucking. I got a high wind warning. I got a blizzard warning. I got a blowing snow warning. I got a winter weather advisory. I got a winter weather warning. I'm saying, like, why do I have all this at once? Just say it's gonna be winter for a minute. That's all I need. That's it. I'm good. That tells me everything I need to know. Hey, winter is gonna come and say hi. Oh, okay, cool. Dude, it's wild, actually. I was just looking at I was reading an article the other day, and usually we get like hundreds of inches of snow per year, right? Like 3, 4, sometimes even 5, up to 500 or more. And we have, as of last snowfall, I think it was like 80 inches of snow this year.
Man.
I'm looking out, like it's been raining for a solid 15 hours right now.
Good grief, bro. Like, so
I'm watching the snow just dwindle to nothing.
Well, man, we had that big snow here in Kansas City where I'm at, and it's like, you know, we're used to snow, but I mean, not that much, that, you know, especially this year. And it doesn't look like it's going to accumulate here, but we're going to get that icy rain mix, so there's going to be a lot of fun with drivers, I think. I tried to do my best to keep my ass inside.
It wasn't that long ago that, what was it, northern Florida got snow?
Is that right?
And everyone panicked?
Oh, yeah, that's right, because Duke's down there and near he was talking about that. Well, we know somebody that almost froze to death, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I wonder if we should shout him out. I wonder if he get a kick out of that.
Diddles?
Yeah, D-Max. So apparently, well, I'll tell the guys listening to the story, but apparently he was driving. He was in wasn't a Prius, was it? It was
I don't remember. He said
some kind of hybrid car. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, some little fucking shoebox.
Yeah, so he's down there in Alabama too, and he made a good point. They don't have plows down there. So it was only like a couple inches of snow. Anyway, I guess he was driving home with his wife in his small little economical car. And he's actually from like Ohio kind of area. And so he's used to driving. Well, what happened is the ice and stuff on the road ended up knocking off his basically drive belt, his serpentine belt. And his battery died on the way home. So they were in the middle of nowhere. And AAA wouldn't even come out because they're so afraid of 2 inches of snow. I mean, it makes sense for people that don't get snow, but apparently he suffered frostbite and stuff. Like, they were out there for hours. Like, his parents had to come or his dad had to come get him or some shit. It's pretty crazy.
Right, well, then what was that, last year, or was that this year, that New Orleans got like 2 feet?
And
Can you imagine like someone growing up in New Orleans and like your usual weather there, and all of a sudden you end up with 2 feet of snow?
No, that's what I was saying. Because I was sitting there. I mean, it was like 2 feet of snow, dude. It's just like those folks, especially. Stop raising your hand. But I don't know. Besides the weather, since that's so exciting, you want to talk about how you got out of jury duty? Maybe that was funny.
Well, I didn't necessarily get out of it as so much as we didn't even do a selection. It was just like, I don't even know if I'm technically allowed to talk about this. I guess I'll find out if the fucking alphabet soup knocks on my door.
Yeah.
If they do hear this, though, from here, make sure you, hit like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that noti bell for all future notifications, for all future projects. Anyway, that goes for all of you. Slap the toast. We enjoy it. It's almost an arousing experience. But no, I showed up to this shit, and they're like, yeah, you can't take your coffee inside the courthouse. And I'm like, well, I'm going to stand out here till I have to go in then. And like literally the judge walked in before I did.
Yeah.
Which I guess isn't necessarily the way that's supposed to go. Everyone else is already sitting in there, and I'm just like, nah, bro, I got a swig of coffee left. I'm not going in there yet. And then the lady's like, no, the judge is entering the chamber right now. And I'm like, oh, does that mean I got to be in there? And she's like, yes, you need to be in there. I'm like, all right, fine. So I set my coffee cup down outside, and I'm walking in, and I'm pulling my hat off as the judge walks through his door into like the main like courtroom. And I'm walking across, and the only open seat I got directed to was like off in the back 40 of this room, and I'm like meandering my way over there. I pop a squat next to a dude, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, judge starts talking. And within 2 minutes of that guy talking, I had to interrupt him, which apparently you don't do in a courthouse, is interrupt the judge.
Oh, shit.
Well, so I'm for everyone who's not aware, I'm like 70% deaf in my left ear, and I'm like 30% deaf in my right ear.
Oh, no.
And I'm all the way in the back, and I don't know if they're trying to like broadcast his ass through a speaker system or something, but I couldn't hear what the hell he was saying. So I'm like, I was like, excuse me, Your Honor, not to be that guy, but is there any chance you could speak up a little more, or we could turn this system up so those of us in the back can hear you, please? I'm like, I got no clue what's been said so far. Kind of pointless to be here if I can't hear. Which it's perfectly reasonable, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
So he looked a little flustered, but he made like some motion to someone off to the side, and then next time he talked, it was audible for me. So everyone else was probably pissed, but we were good. Long and the short of it, that the fucking dillweed that the trial was for, which I know nothing about it, couldn't have told you what the case was for, even if I wanted to, because they didn't tell us anything.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, I took a plea like 8 minutes ago, so you guys are good.
So you didn't even have to be there?
No, they took roll call and we left. That was my exciting freaking day right there.
Hey, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. I figured we could talk about it since it wasn't, you didn't know anything. So I just find it funny that it was taken 10 minutes before all. Did you get paid for your hour of being there or whatever?
Probably not.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
It might come in the mail. I don't know, because they took roll call, so they might give us something. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean,
check in on next episode, and I guess we'll let you know.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, update. Still haven't been paid. But yeah, man, it was weird.
Well, it gave us an opportunity to do that.
I was hoping to get sent home. I didn't want to be there in the first goddamn place. I was like, I'm supposed to be at work right now.
Yeah.
So like I'm sitting there like, how do I get sent home from a courthouse without actually breaking the law, right?
There we go.
Or causing a disturbance. And I'm like, okay, so I want to look as pro Second Amendment as I can without actually having anything that says, like blatant disregard for everything. So I'm like, how do I pull this off? So I put on a shirt that says USA and it says Home of the Brave on it. And then over that went my old hoodie from when I used to work for the Department of Corrections here in Michigan. and then on my head I slapped my Vortex Optics, my Vortex USA hat, and I'm like, that should do it. That
That
should
should
do
do
it.
it. That should do it.
I mean, there's something else that I was planning on using, but I'm not sure I can say that on this platform, so we're going to go
Yeah,
ahead and forego this.
yeah. But that should do it.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that would do it.
Didn't get to find out.
Did find out. He says,
Didn't get to find out. I'm like, oh well.
you know, but it's nice for me. I'm jealous, but yeah. So it let us be able to actually do a podcast, which is nice.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, bud. Fuck yeah, bud. So I guess, do we want to cover like crazy shit in the world? Let's do it. What's happening in Florida right now? Is there anything good in Florida? We already mentioned them once.
You know what? Let's take a look at Florida. I have no idea. See if you beat me to it, but Florida news. Let's take a gander.
There's got to be something good.
You know what the top result was?
Uh-oh.
It's kind of funny, but it's Musk's SpaceX to invest $1.8 in Florida for the Starship program.
1.8 million.
Billion with a B.
Oh, okay. You said $1.8, so I was like, 1.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. My multitasking is not as strong as it once was. It's been a minute, man. We got to get something up on Spotify,
Right.
or one of those kind of things.
I instead of Florida, because we don't necessarily care a whole lot about SpaceX, but I suppose we could use that as a segue for a rumor going around the rumor mill.
Yeah.
Which is Elon's plan to terraform Mars.
Well, dude, I looked into it, and I think it's more than a rumor. So, from what I've seen in articles here, he's serious about it, using nukes to do it. I don't know. What do you think about that? So, like, I don't know. Is it something we should think about? Like, so we kind of talked about this before. Somebody brought up in one of these articles at like space.com, something like that. Do we have really the right to terraform another planet for our own purpose? Like, what happens to the life that might be there that we don't know about, And we fucking nuke another planet just for our means,
Well, if you look at it, it's everything there is still carbon based. So, hypothetically speaking, if we terraform the planet where it becomes a habitable type, realistically, we're just forwarding the planet, I guess. So, realistically, the life there should flourish, not dwindle. Unless it's shit that wants to kill us, then we're going to go ahead and get rid of it.
Well, and
unless it's like the gray wolf or something. Next thing you know, the tree huggers are gonna be like, let's go plant wolves on Mars, guys. They're part of their natural habitat. 20,000 fucking years ago.
The Oopers love your wolves, man. I know it. Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. Like, so from what I've got on screen, I'm going to read this. It says a 2018 study published in the prestigious Journal of Nature Astronomy concluded that Mars doesn't harbor enough CO2 today to achieve significant warming, even if all the stuff were liberated into the atmosphere. Basically, they're saying as a result, we conclude that terraforming Mars is not possible using present-day technology. Now, that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Are they trying to say we don't have enough nukes to warm it? Because the plan is for Elon to give him a little bit of, context. So he wants to nuke their poles, their ice caps. So it'd be like our North Pole and South Pole. And the idea is the intense heat would... and it wouldn't be just one or two. He wants to actually, allegedly, he wants to send all the nuclear weapons, all our Cold War stuff, everybody that has Cold War nukes, to Mars to do this. And then it rids us of, some terrible weapons, and at the same time maybe gives us, you're talking decades down the road, but it may possibly another planet to inhabit. That's kind of what he's saying. So is it possible? I don't know, but...
Well, and so the idea is that it would release greenhouse gases trapped in carbon dioxide from the polar ice caps, right?
Sure.
So that sounds legitimate. And then the released carbon dioxide and water vapor would trap heat from the sun, creating a thicker atmosphere. Obviously, melting ice would create liquid water, which would support oxygen-producing plants. and then the plants would produce oxygen, which would support human life, right? So you're just kickstarting it, well, I can't use that analogy. You're giving it a jump pack. It's hitting the start button, right? Although there are some things to consider. Nuclear winter for one.
Exactly.
Which is a massive thing that we think about here when nuclear war is mentioned.
Yep.
Radiation, obviously, which would be a problem.
Yep.
And there might not even be enough carbon dioxide trapped in the polar ice caps.
Yeah.
So you might have to figure out a way to like pump the what little atmosphere is there with more carbon dioxide.
Well, and it's like, it could backfire apparently, right? So apparently, it could kick up enough dust, like nuclear winter, like you were saying, where it would actually engulf the atmosphere where they get less sunlight, and that Mars would actually get colder. Apparently,
Right.
that's a possibility. So, it's
Well,
just
I
one
mean,
of
and
the
let's
things.
be honest here. Slinging a couple hundred nukes up into the fucking space isn't necessarily a fucking great sounding plan.
No, and well, I can understand his thought process behind it, and I'm sure it goes deeper than that. Like, I'm not necessarily, discounting his idea either, but I don't know. It's an interesting debate. That like the debate for me, isn't necessarily would it work. I think we got to get past, is it something we should do? Like,
Well, and for that, as far as that goes, yeah, there's shit there that's there's microorganisms and shit in the ice and whatnot, just like how Earth started and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like if the planet's basically dead, like what's the difference? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I will say that the only benefit I could see is getting rid of the nukes on our planet. That would be nice, but we're just basically throwing our trash out of a car window.
Well, and
One
the
of
other
those
thing you
things.
have to think of is, everyone's like, oh, there's hidden caverns on Mars, there's Martians on Mars, aliens and shit. And it's like, okay, cool. So let's presume for a minute that alien races, if there are any, which I would assume percentage-wise, based on the size of the universe, there has to be life on other planets. Statistically, it has to be a thing, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
let's just assume that there is a race that's technologically advanced enough to travel at light speeds or above, and they have a base on some portion of Mars.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, here's little human race nuking the shit out of the planet. Now, do they take that as we're trying to terraform it so we can live there, or would they take that as, hey,
And
these motherfuckers just attacked us, let's go decimate that shit?
well, and that's the good thing too. So then this is definitely tinfoil area, but because we're speaking about Mars, which we don't think is inhabited by, intelligent
No,
creatures.
but it's an
But-
it's a what if. It's a what if.
But here's a conspiracy thing. As you were talking, what if we found something there and we're trying to nuke them without the public knowing? Yeah, there's some tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff. What if we are preemptively trying to strike another civilization, like underground? They're underground or something. We're trying to get rid of them, and the whole cover for this. What are you doing? Eating chips?
No, I'm shaping my hat.
Fucking no, but seriously, like that's a movie right there. Like the cover up being, it's like a Transformers movie, right? We went to the moon, just to go to the moon. It was really fine, fucking Optimus Prime or whatever. But yeah,
Right? We're just chilling on the dark side, baby.
yeah, that's the thing, dude. Like, here's the deal. I want to see people back on the moon before I get even back, really thinking about this.
And realistically, what the fuck's the point in goddamn going back to the moon? There's nothing there.
For me, I want to prove. I want 1080p pictures on the moon. That's what I want. I mean, there's some weird
Right?
things.
You're like, I want to see my house from the moon.
Well, no, I'm just saying there's some weird stuff about the very first moon landing, and I'm sorry. How do you lose all the technology all of a sudden? All the data. It's just, I'm not necessarily theorist saying we didn't go, but all right, if we went, let's go again. We could do it in the '60s. We can't do it now. It's weird. It's really weird. So
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Trying to stay as chill as I can because I don't want to rile up anybody that might be listening to us about that. But hey, if you got something to say, definitely put it in the comments. I mean, I'd love to hear it. We love talking about stuff like this. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Kind of along the same range of topics. Bill Gates apparently has come out and said that he thinks nuclear weapons are less threatening than AI. So
That
that's the
sounds
thing.
legitimate.
Yeah, to me, that's my biggest fear is AI. Um, Seeing what we're able to do with these deep fakes and voice changers and now Chat GPT. Good lord, I don't know, brother. I don't know. We're living in an interesting time. I know that.
Right. Well, and that's I don't even know where to start with AI.
Well, dude.
There was the one that lied about trying to replicate itself.
Yeah, yeah, and it tried to kill the one prior. It tried to rewrite its code. So that's my thing. If something's trying to escape, right, then it's sentient enough to want to live, right? I mean, is that sentience? Is that some form of? And they'll say it's code. Oh, it's coded into them. Okay, well, it's coded into me when I was born too, just in a different way. We're playing with some bigger things.
Here's a good paradox for you. For those that say we're living in a simulation, now we're creating AI. Is it where we're ruled by AI, well, in an AI, while making AI?
Well, here's the thing.
Like, how deep do you want to go down that rabbit hole?
Well, I had a great discussion with another one of our friends, Dyer, and this is the thing. AI is meant to do what? Well, take that back. What do simulations do? They simulate, right?
Right.
And what are we doing constantly? Between the gaming, AI itself, we simulate.
Well, so right.
To me, you know me, I'm agnostic about everything, so I don't have beliefs, I have kind of leanings, but to me, the idea of a virtual reality or whatever you want to call it, basically simulation theory, I lean towards simulation theory. I think we've been here before millions of times.
All you got to do is like point some kind of like a laser light at the wall, and you can read the numbers that are scrolling up the wall like the Matrix.
Dude, you showed me that, and I want to see that for myself, honestly. And I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't think it's like the Matrix movie, but honest to God, I think we've done these things.
Well, so I'm curious. Okay, so if this hypothetically works on a wall, right? Wait till nighttime or something and go do it to the ground under your feet. Now, if that works, then I'm like, okay, that might be weird.
Yeah, exactly. And you're gonna have to send me that link again because I really want to.
I don't know if I could find it. It just popped up while I was taking a shit scrolling Facebook reels.
Yeah. Well, and I think I still have it, but I really want to dig into that because I don't know, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
It would bring you what you wanted real quick.
Well, so I wrote this paper a long time ago to nobody, by the way, but it wouldn't be that hard to simulate what we consider our reality, our open world, right? Because typically, if you think about it, we spend most of our times in some kind of a room or a smaller area. Even an arena would be, if you look at it as a computer program, right? It only has to simulate a relative area to each person.
Well, they made a whole fucking anime around that back in the day. Not even back in the day necessarily, but
which one?
Sword Art Online.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I've seen Ghost.
SAO. Yeah, so SAO, it's a MMORPG where you put like this headgear on. It's like virtual reality, like you put the headset on and like in your mind gets like linked into the game through your computer, and so like you're in the world online while you like lay in your bed or whatever, and then like they get locked into the game and have to like live in the game for years.
Really?
Yeah, I think you'd actually enjoy it. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, definitely send that to me later because I think I would be into that. Because here's the thing, even in the paper, I actually diagrammed it. If you think about it, like you're in your house right now, that's a small amount of data, even piece by piece, right? Unless you're actually moving something, that's not hard to kind of simulate. Most of your stuff is static, like around you. And even when you have another person in there, it's still not that much, like inside of a game format. For example, look at open world RPGs and stuff like that. That's the idea. And honestly, I think it saves a lot more data than we think when we're not in the open world because we can only see so far. I honestly don't think.
Yeah, you got your event horizon and shit.
Yeah, it's once we got to the point where we could in real time generate backgrounds and shit. I think that's when. I'll be honest. I think if we are a program or a simulation of some sort, I think what happens is it only takes so long before the bubble's kind of broken. Like, I think at some point, the intelligent beings on whatever reality base you want to put it reaches a point of almost sentience. They realize they're in a fishbowl of some sort. Because if and this is how I feel about. I'm sorry, I'm getting so deep, but we got in the subject.
So
Paradox.
when that bubble pops you're talking about, is that us aging and dying?
I think that's us becoming sentient to the program, and I think it makes us worthless to whatever simulation it is. I think we're here for data mining. I think we're here to see. I think we're here for a reason, for sure. And it doesn't discount our memories and anything like that. We are living actual lives. The issue is, I still think we're in a fishbowl. What I'm saying is, it's like this. So we know that there's been generations of lost civilizations already on what we could consider this planet. This could be like the base map or whatever. And it's stuff left over. Stuff happens like that in computer programs all the time. What I'm saying is, how do I put this? I guess the easiest way to put it is, what we think of as alternate reality, stuff like that. I think that's an issue of memory, ghost memory, and paradoxes in general. If we were in a true open world with true free will, which we don't have, we can show that reality makes its own decisions by particle physics in the SLIT test. Paradoxes should not exist in a true free world. Paradoxes are nothing but basically broken code where there is no answer. And we can show that in thought experiments, as we've been doing that since long 1800s, 1700s, who knows? Ancient philosophy. Like something like Schrodinger's cat, right? It both possibilities exist until we observe one. So I don't want to get too stupid with this. We're probably losing people, but
my tinfoil hat didn't turn out very good. I'm gonna check out of these guys.
Yeah. Well,
all I know is ever since I started using oatmeal baths for my dogs, their coat got really soft.
Well, in all honesty, on this topic, I'll say this: the truth is probably scarier than any conspiracy you probably think. When it comes to particle physics, especially quantum theory, we're advancing so fast, and now with AI and quantum computing, who knows? Who knows what some people are?
So the weird thing with so you brought up quantum computers. So the weird thing with that is it proves the fact that there's multiple realities and universes and dimensions, because it does its math or whatever in those dimensions and then brings it to ours. And I'm like,
yes.
What?
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. We've already kind of broken the bubble to a degree. But what's going to happen, in my opinion, is I think AI is going to be our next natural evolution. And what I mean by that is, at some point, the biological is gonna be deceased. So that includes humans, possibly even wildlife. And what I mean is, at some point, I think AI is going to have, a version of us in them. Like they obviously will just by code, but I think now with androids and God knows, we're putting human minds inside of computer programs right now. Look up Elon Musk's what was that? It was he was basically trying to put minds in computers. I'd been on it for a while. I just can't think of the name of it. But long or the short, we have the ability to put a human into software, basically. And now with AI, what it's being able to do, here's a good topic. For example, because most of us have spent enough time online now on the internet, say you have a loved one that passed, right? There's a company out there that's actually a startup, but they're talking about taking all the information that, like, you're on Facebook, you're on video calls, all that. You give them that information or the right to seek it, right? It goes through the cloud, it finds all that stuff, builds an actual lifelike avatar on a computer screen, and everything, it uses all the information of who that person was that may have passed, and that person comes back and talks to you just like it, like, say your grandmother passed, right? But she had some kind of technology for a few years. It will rebuild your grandmother in AI.
That seems a little bit like it's breaking the laws of physics to me, or the laws of reality anyway. Or
it's not truly. So that's the thing.
Maybe morality.
There's a definite morale concern, because think about it. If you're mourning and say you lose somebody, your wife, like, got here, knock on wood, that's not going to happen. It's a bad example, but say that's the case, and you're in mourning, and you can't lose that person, and there's a company basically saying, hey, if you'd like to speak to her, we could do this and this and this. It's almost like a Total Recall in a way, but with human beings. And if you
Well,
think
no.
about that, well, if the computer's able to do that with just the stuff that we've offered up, we wanted to give this information to the cloud and to the internet. To me, I think the cloud is AI. I honest to God think that is the
But I guess
physical.
the bigger question is, if we could take a human mind, put it in a computer, right? Does that mean that their consciousness and memories are there?
Well, so that's the thing, though. So
You know what I mean?
we
So like, is that like a form of immortality almost at that point?
well, and we've constantly relied on the Turing test, right? You know the Turing test. We've constantly relied on that to decide whether our technology is sentient or not. But I'm sorry, the Turing test is. I think it's been beaten for a long time by some of these programs. I think GPT-4. There's been times that it's questionable, and you know that they have 5 ready to go. Who knows how far down the rabbit hole? But the issue is, we think we can control this. I think it's already out of control. I think the ones that are in the know it's out of control. Elon Musk himself is a fatalist, but he calls himself an optimistic fatalist. I think people don't understand what's going to happen right now, and it's not going to be like the Terminator. We're killing ourselves off at a rapid rate anyway. And
Right. Well, then there's the whole thing about human DNA being able to hold code.
well, exactly. So
Massive
imagine
amounts
this:
of it.
if someone offered you living, say you're healthy, if someone offered you basically immortality, as long as, I guess, we don't get hit by solar flares, but if they offered you immortality, just not in the reality of human beings and flesh, would you take that? Would you want to be immortal to begin with? Like, that's the issue. We may not have a choice by how much we use the internet. Take what we do on the podcast, right? Say somebody wants to bring us back, we don't even get that choice. You see what I'm saying? I think AI can decide and may be programmed to do maybe what we've done, is bring back civilization in a different form every time. That's why I think we've done this several times. In simulation theory, I lean towards, from the Aztecs to dinosaurs, whatever. I think as a program, that would make sense to me.
Right.
Just a constant reset. You hear these stories about the mud flood and stuff like that. It's just, we're finding stuff out
I
of
always find it interesting that all the great cataclysms of the world are the same throughout all different religions and whatnot.
Exactly. Well, let's go back to Tempum or whatever, right? Right. Did you know? So, as of right now, the people that are in control of that, they're not even excavating it anymore. They said they want to leave it to future generations. Does that make any fucking sense to you? They've actually laid concrete and stuff over the top of it, like walkways and shit. You can't excavate it and see what's under there. That makes zero sense. They treat it as a tourism spot, but they're not actually seeking information. Like, that makes no sense. Why is that? Is it because it will blow our narrative out of the water? That seems likely. Like the mud flood. You see some of these pictures, and it's like, yeah, that is pretty weird. Why would there be windows underground? And I'm not saying that's exactly true, but what I'm saying is it's kind of odd, right? And like you said, around the world, what happened to the Aztecs, for example? There's pyramids around the world, and that seems a pretty common structure. What were those? Were those?
Well, and that's one of the guy. I think it was, if I remember right, one of the individuals that was working on the Great Pyramid, when they were playing certain sounds, and they were some kind of experiments or whatever. But then they stumbled across a certain sound wave that was like promoted healing within the body, and they played that inside the great chamber of that pyramid. And he's like, to this day, he goes, I haven't had any flare-ups of my pre-existing conditions. They're just gone.
Well, dude, there's definitely something going on, especially in Egypt near the pyramids, because first of all, the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx are much older than the smaller ones. So the idea is maybe the civilization after the first pyramid.
Well, the big thing for me is the Sphinx has been modified.
Well, yeah, and water erosion, right? So there was a water duct running underneath the Great Pyramid for some reason. And if you go inside the Great Pyramid, I guess the walls are coated in like gold flake or whatever. but there was no lighting sources like for torches or anything. So the idea is maybe that gold was a conductor, like through those shafts and stuff, and they were beaming energy out. And if you look at and if you look at the orientation of the Great Pyramid too, so it's all kind of like I said, there's definitely, we got to admit this. I think people are wise enough to understand there has to be some kind of hidden technology around the world for a lot of this stuff to be built. I mean, we can't recreate even the smaller pyramids. We just can't do it right now. I mean, there's some incredible craftsmanship. Like, it's just what's going on, you know?
Yeah,
that's why I lean towards the
razors difference or whatever. You okay?
Yeah, yeah.
You good?
And if they're doing that with hammer and chisel, I mean, great, you know, awesome. But you're telling me those people that can do that, like, what happened? Like, you're telling me they weren't smart enough to use language, and we only count on to certain people to interpret this stuff. How are you interpreting this? Like, it's because it's a picture? Like, what if we got the entire thing all wrong? And I think we do, honestly, but
well, it's possible.
Yeah,
I guess we'll shift gears here real quick off of this. We'll take off our tinfoil hats for a minute here. I'll put it that way.
Do it. And
we'll go to one that's real and happening real time. So the International Space Station. You heard the fun stuff with that?
Are you talking about Butch?
Well, old Butch. No,
Butch.
They are still stuck up there, though.
Okay, did they bring an Easter Bunny suit?
I hope so. But no, so I haven't looked into Butch in a minute, but old Butch, last I heard, is still up there because, you know, Boeing.
Gotta love Boeing.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
No, the International Space Station is aging and eventually will fall back into Earth. NASA is planning to deorbit the ISS in a controlled crash into the ocean around 2031.
Really?
So currently, the ISS has been in orbit since 1998 and has shown signs of wear and tear, including leaks and cracks. The thing is literally starting to fall apart. Like, you want to talk about being held together? You want to talk about being held together with duct tape and a prayer? That's the International Space Station right now.
Well, and it's funny because I kind of have this thing in front of me, and it says something about making the International Space Station dirtier might preserve it better than keeping it clean, because there's no microbes or something. That's crazy. That it's got to have some kind of microbes to exist. That's pretty neat.
Right.
Is that part of why it's falling apart? That's pretty interesting.
Right, it's just old, man. I mean, you gotta think, 98, that's been up in the fucking sky for, what, 26 years? Almost 27?
Well, that makes sense, too, yeah.
So, the plan, though, is, it's also, you know, losing altitude due to friction from Earth's atmosphere. But the plan right now that's being denoted is that SpaceX is going to build a vehicle to pull the ISS out of orbit. And as it re-enters the atmosphere, it will break apart. Most of the hardware will burn up, but some denser parts will splash down in the ocean. At the time of its deorbit, it will be the largest object to ever have done so. And they're apparently going to be able to plan very specifically where it crashes into the ocean, which is where they want to put it, is called Point Nemo. And it's a remote location in the South Pacific Ocean. And it's one of the most isolated places on Earth. Now, that sounds great, but there's so many things at play there that I feel like maybe Hong Kong gets hit, New York.
Yeah, it's well, look at this in a more abstract way, too. And I mean, you know, like, I don't necessarily feel like this is going to happen, but if we start pulling down, like, the International Space Station, how does that going to affect the other countries that are able to get there, too? But if you look at it from just a pure USA standpoint, that pretty much puts SpaceX in control of space, and I can understand the concern for some of the people, you know, kind of in the political realm. Yeah, isn't that pretty? I don't know if anybody's thought of that. Have you even thought of that?
No, it's I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Is
What's
that
that?
would that be a conflict of interest considering he's now part of the government?
Well, who knows how to necessarily interpret that? I mean, if everyone's on board, like, hey, we need to take care of this before it really becomes like a global issue,
I
um,
agree.
and start making a plan, then fine, okay, we're cool. But it's
Well,
just it's an interesting concept. At the same time, I feel like there's just so many things that can go wrong with it. Why don't we like? I feel like
take it
it'd be
by piece
almost
by
better
piece,
to like
blow it up, maybe. Well, blowing it
not
up will
let's
be
say
an
blow
issue.
it up, but maybe you know
Push it
use
out.
use it. Yeah, exactly. Just kind of give her a shove. Maybe we can load up the nukes on it and send them over to Mars, and just have all of it go to Mars.
Well, hell, well, so again, same representation. It's like us throwing trash out of the window, but it's crazy that we're so fucking dirty that we're even. I guess space in general, like above us right now with all the orbital trash. I guess that itself is starting to block sunlight. But I was gonna say this too, like in the Elon Musk defense, like because he had talk about getting the ISS deorbited or whatever. But he did say in a quote, he said it would be a shame to bring it down when it's not having technical issues. So it
Well,
doesn't seem like he's
it
wanting to
it,
do it just to do it.
it is now.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Well, and the thing is too, like even if I don't think it'd be that hard for say a SpaceX ship to get up there and say put just a few little boosters that would push it well out of orbit out to the galaxy somewhere.
Right.
But I mean that's just us littering even more. I don't know. I guess there's something to do with the cleanup of the orbital trash as well, because I guess it's starting to literally block sunlight. That's how much space shit we have up there now.
Right. Well,
And I'm
so
gonna find a picture and put it up. But
so with current plans, after the space station is deorbited, it will be replaced by commercial space stations operated privately by companies like Axiom Space, Blue Origin, and Northrop Grumman. And then NASA intends to utilize those commercial stations to maintain a human presence in space after the ISS is retired.
I mean, it sounds like a good idea. My issue is again that orbital trash. There's so much up there. What happens if they're off or don't see something? Like it's getting pretty busy up there, and the pictures or video that I'll put up, it's pretty crazy. Like I guess rocket science is kind of hard. Who would have known? But yeah, that is pretty crazy, man. I didn't hear that till you just brought that up. Man,
Yeah.
98. That blows my mind. Holy crap.
I know, man.
I
We're
feel
getting
so old.
We're
I
getting
know. I feel
old.
so old.
Apparently, there's going to be another search being started for the Loch Ness monster because of some new sightings and shit that have come up. Back in 2023 is the article I'm looking at, which is the newest article of pretty much anything Loch Ness related in a while. Excuse me. And there's some photos we'll throw up on the screen for you. But
Yeah,
it's
and I'll
showing.
definitely put where they're coming from, just so you know.
Yeah. So these photos were actually taken in 2018 by a photographer. I'm gonna blast this name out of the water. I'm sure. Chai Kelly, 51. But she
Yeah,
kept
that's
it
what I would. Yeah,
for fear of public ridicule.
I would
Now
assume.
there's an ongoing search for the famed water beast, the largest Loch Ness monster hunt in over 50 years. Kelly, a translator, was convinced to put the photos out to the world. She and her husband Scott were having lunch at Doors Inn on the banks of the loch in Inverness, Scotland on August 13th, 2018, when she took these photos. And I guess to try and describe it, the one almost looks like a boa constrictor in the water. It almost looks like there's a couple coils. The one shows what appears to be eye shine from what could be a head sticking out of the water. It's definitely different, I would say. Probably a little more believable than some of the ones I've seen in the past. I will say that one of the ones I'm looking at does look a little on the CG side, but if it is, it's really well done.
Yeah, that one.
Obviously,
That one
again,
is.
we're gonna quote all sources
Yeah.
as well, and obviously this is just something interesting that we saw.
Well,
that
and
we're showing.
the possible baby one here. That one's actually from Fox News, which, I mean, they are a news company and they ran with it. But what is that? Like, that's
Dude, I don't know.
What is
I
that?
legitimately have no idea.
I mean, if you look at the body structure combined with some of these other pictures, I mean, that almost looks like a baby of something we don't know. You know?
Yeah, no, I have no idea what to call that thing. That's just strange. It's like head of a bald parrot on a long ass neck.
And look at that tail. Like, the tail part is what's incredible for me. Like, what is that?
I don't know. That's definitely weird.
And even the one
So-
that could possibly look odd, like the CG one that we just kind of showed, I'll bring it back up. That one's from the Daily Star. So, yeah, dude, I don't know. There's some stuff that news agencies are actually, you know, running with. This isn't like just YouTube type stuff. So, dude, what do you think about the Loch Ness Monster in general? Like, what was your feeling prior to these photos? Like, because it was completely off my radar. I'll be honest. I always just thought it was, you know, waves and water and that kind of thing.
I kind of rolled with a hoax, honestly.
Yeah, for tourism or something. Yeah, yeah, dude. Like, but even going back to Kelly's, you know, thing, right? If those photos are incredible, whatever that is, it's different.
Right? Yeah, like whatever I'm looking at, it's cool. The headshot one is the most interesting to me, I think.
The headshot.
Or what I assume to be a headshot. I'm not going to say 100% like that's a head, but if I were to try and describe what I'm seeing, it looks like the part of an upper jaw goes into an eye socket down into a portion of a neck.
Yeah, and you're talking about here on the right side, right, of the picture?
No, it'd be like center frame on the picture I'm currently looking at.
Well, is it the one with the two humps? Are you talking about the right side hump?
No.
Okay.
No humps in this photo. It literally just looks like a head above water.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you. Nope, I see it. I got you.
It's what looks to be like a white eye.
Yep, I'll flash that up. Yeah, dude, yeah. I don't even know. But it looks almost snake-like, like anaconda looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
And that's why that baby one is so compelling to me. It's almost like the same thing, the one laying on the beach here.
It could be similar. I mean, if it was like 50 times bigger.
Yeah, but if you look at that face, look at the face of it.
You could definitely make the argument,
right? Like,
for sure. I mean, they go together well. It's weird. It's really weird. So yeah, check out some of the newest stuff from the old Loch Ness there, and maybe we'll finally have an answer for an age-old question.
Well, dude, we're living in an incredible time, aren't we?
Yeah, you could say that. You could definitely say that. So breaking news as of 2023. We're with the times.
Wow, dude, the Loch Ness Monster's real? Question mark? Like, I didn't expect to say that. So, all right.
No, I did not.
Well,
no, I did not. So we can start making some more shit. Reach out through the email, yell at us in the comments, all that other good shit.
Don't forget Xanatos Music.
Yep, 100%. Check out him. We love him. He's great. The Almighty.
He'll have we actually have another video coming out again this weekend. Zan's Weapon Depot. Be sure to check it out on the channel. It's really cool.
We'll see you next time, fuckers. Bye.
Bye.